Yeah, we're locked in as a backup fighter. You know, I've been calling for it. I said I wanted it. Just had to make sure the hand was all good. So we all good. We locked in. We got the clearance to fight. The UFC's on board. Everyone's on board. So I'll be at UFC 280 to make weight. And yeah, looking forward to it. Let's see what happens. If someone doesn't make it, I'm there to save the day. If not, at least I'm locked in as the next guy to fight for that lightweight title.
Volkanovski is officially the backup fighter, right? Now, you guys know what I'm talking about. In case you just tuned in today or you've been under a rock, I'm talking about for Oliveira versus Islam. Volkanovski called for this spot. He called for it and he wasn't given it. He called for it and he didn't get a fight booked at 145, which lended to the idea that, okay, maybe this is on the table. Fellow 45-pounders aren't calling him out. I mean, Josh Emmett and Yuri Rodriguez are neck and neck in a tie for who should be the number one contender to get a fight Volkanovski. They have gone radio silent. So that tells us on the outside, okay, maybe there's some legs to this, but there wasn't then. And I'm giving you a timeline, guys, right? I'm going back over a couple of months here, but then you back up. Benny Dariush came out and said he's the backup. Benny Dariush is on the card. He's fighting Gamrot. He said, I am the backup fighter. They're going to separate Gamrot and I, and they're going to put me into the main event if needed. Now, historically speaking, that's happened many times. Many times where you take a guy, you feature him within the same card, main event's a 55-pound fight, you feature another match at the same weight class. So now he's done the training camp, he's done the paperwork, he's got the scale beat, he's all ready to go. Many times that has happened. 2 weeks before bell time, which brings you to last night, Volkanovski puts out that he is locked in, that he's officially the backup fighter. Showed a lot of training footage. He's in there, he's sparring with Adesanya, he's in there, he's moving around with Dan Hooker, showing some training footage, and it like takes him to a rugby game. Now, the reason that I tell you this, the reason I tell you there's training footage, the reason I tell you it shows him being a fan, he's going to the rugby game, he's doing the whoop-whoop with the team after they win, is he then slipped in, I'm the backup fighter, I'm all locked in. So I don't know how to interpret it. I have to assume that he's the backup fighter and he's all locked in. I must. It was his exact word from a guy who's never bluffed. I must come and tell you, Volk is the backup fighter. Journalism 101, cite your source. Okay, my source is Volk. But is it enough? Is it real? I mean, it seems like that's a very big piece of news that he would be releasing himself on a vlog that I just happened to come across. It seems as though that's the kind of news that the organization would put out. That possibly Oliveira or Islam would put out. And we have very different opinions of how this backup fighter business should be treated. The UFC's opinion is don't treat it in any way. Don't even discuss it. Bring the guy there. If somebody's to miss on the scale, we can preserve a championship match by bringing this other guy in. That's their way. They might be right. It's never been done the other way for me to juxtapose and compare the two. I just think it's a really big deal. I think it is a colossally big position. And if you were to talk to Kamaru Usman, who couldn't get a world title fight, he would agree with me that being a backup fighter is very helpful. If you were to talk to Michael Chandler, who walked right in from a different organization, was the backup fighter and rolled into a world title fight, he would agree with me. And this one appears to have some extra sauce on it in that if Volkanovski is training and he's going 155, it is very rare that guys ever then go back down.
I know you have goals of becoming a double champion, but when you look at that fight, Volk, those dudes are savages, man. First off, who wins? Which one would you prefer to compete against? But who do you think wins, and how do you think they win the fight? Make an enemy right now, Volkanovski, because fighters are the most sensitive human beings on the planet. So I'm giving you an opportunity right now to make an enemy. Pick a fight.
Yeah, man, look good. Make an enemy. I've got to make it an enemy, do I? Look, to be honest, when I look at that fight, stylistically, as a person that thinks, like, how do I think it's going to go? I think Islam can get the job done. You know what I mean? Then you talk about who would you rather fight and things like that. Look, I'm the type of guy that I'll fight anyone. I just want to fight for that belt. I want to go for that title.